Hello, Champions for Life. I am in the studio with Ken today. Not for the full show, just for the first half.
Take what I can get.
It's good to be with you guys here today. We're going to just talk about some of the stuff going on around here lately. Doors God is opening. It has been a wild roller coaster of a ride for the last month on my part, which is kind of why Ken's been filling in with other people, because I've just been all over the place.
It's just good news.
Exploring new territories that God is expanding us into. So,
it's going to be a great Christmas show.
Yeah, it is.
So we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, first of all, and just for a heartfelt season's greetings from the staff at First Choice and Champions for Life.
Yes, hopefully next week. I don't think we're doing this show next week, are we, Ken? Ken plans to. I don't.
It's the 24th.
So tune in next week to watch
find out.
Ken. He might have like Ebenezer Scrooge or the Grinch with him or something. I don't know. I won't be here. I have my eldest daughter coming home for Christmas.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm going to take some time to spend with my family. For those of you who don't know, I have 4 kids.
Is that all?
That's it. Sometimes I feel like I have a lot more kids, but
Me too.
Yeah. Well, you do actually have more than 4. So my daughter's coming home, and I have so my daughter is 19 and a half, and then I have a son, Seth, who is a senior in high school. So it's kind of, we're just in between one graduating last year and one graduating next year. So we're excited to have her home for a week, and we're going to soak up that time. Pregnancy tests from December the 10th through December the 16th. We did 67 pregnancy tests and 39 ultrasounds. They're busy over there today. I said, wow, you guys have had a steady stream through here. This was about half an hour ago. And they said, we've already had 14 women today. So This is the season where things generally start picking up around here. All the holidays, people together, ends up often creating more human beings.
Yeah, it's great, though.
And we're blessed to be here.
I mean, think about it. I mean, we're celebrating, the greatest gift mankind has ever received in the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Why wouldn't we want to help women have their children during this time or, soon afterwards? So I think it's great, actually. So we got conferences coming up. You going?
We do. I am going. Are you?
Absolutely. Going to the Battle-Born Freedom Conference. That's coming up. There it is. It's up on the screen right there. For those of you who are listening over KKVV, whom we love, by the way, you can find out more about the Battle-Born Freedom Conference. This is coming up on Saturday, January 10th. And it's going to be an all-day event from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, that's if you get the full program. And it's pricey, but they're going to feed you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there's like 8 different speakers, 7 or 8 different speakers. And all of this stuff is going to be important. The keynote speaker is a constitutionalist and comedian. Rick Green, he's going to be there. Tim Barton from Wall Builders is going to be there. Attorney Haram Sassar is going to be there. That is the attorney that took the case of the coach who was praying it was a high school team, actually. It was praying with his students, his team.
On the
his team. It was right there in the middle of the field.
Oh.
And he got fired over it. And so attorney Sassar took that all the way to the Supreme Court case and won it.
God
for that coach.
him.
You know what? I mean, come on. It's not like the team was obligated to go and pray with the coach. Coach said, I'm going to go pray. If you want to come pray with me, great. And they fired him over it. And so they won that case for religious freedom. So he's going to be one of the speakers. It's going to be awesome. So if you're interested in going to the Battle-Born Freedom Conference, again, it's going to be Saturday, January 10th. The best way to do it is to log into Facebook, right? And put Battle-Born Freedom Conference, right? And the page there, the Facebook page, will come up where you can register for this event. Now, there's some great things that are happening. For those of you who are pastors, there is an incredible gift, because we really want pastors at this conference, is $25. $25.
That's a deal.
It's a great deal.
That's a cheap Christmas present. They don't have to know you got a discount.
Exactly. Buy your pastor and Mrs. Pastor a couple of tickets, and you send them to this conference, and it's going to be wonderful. They're going to love it. They're going to love you for it. And but for the rest of us, the general admission price for lunch and dinner for most of the conference, $40. But if you go VIP, yes, it's $225, but you'll get dinner included, and at the end of the conference, you'll be able to have dinner with one of the speakers of your choice at your table, where you can sit and talk about any of the things that any of the speakers are talking about. And I already know who I want to have. I want to have Tim Barton of Wall Builders. He's going to be there. He's also going to have some Founding Father artifacts that he's bringing from his museum that he has. And it's an additional $20, but I'm paying the extra $20. And I want to just see, some of the artifacts from our Founding Father. It's going to be so good. I just can't wait.
So much variety to choose from.
It's going to be fantastic. Saturday, January 26th, January 10th. Next year, Saturday, January 10th, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. if you go VIP. If you don't, it goes to 6 p.m. And you can get more information on the Facebook page, Battleborn Freedom Conference, and that'll take where you need to go. And I'll see you there. It's going to be awesome.
And then the week following that, there is the Imago Day movement. That's the conference, the annual conference. And they have Megan Basham as one of the keynotes, and Dr. George Delgado. He is the doctor and director of Abortion Pill Reversal Protocol. So he's the one who really pioneered abortion pill reversal. Megan is New York Times award-winning author, Shepherds for Sale, and the culture reporter for the Daily Wire. Some of the people they have lined up to speak are the pastor of the Westside Christian Fellowship, podcaster, and Christian author. They have our very own Jessica Williams. She's a nurse. She is one of our abortion pill reversal baby success stories.
She's famous now.
She's awesome. And then Melissa Clement from Nevada Right to Life. She's their executive director over there. Jason King, he's the lead pastor of Calvary Chapel, Boulder City. And Pastor Richie Box of Living Grace Foursquare. I'm on a weekly Zoom with all of these in a steering committee. And so we've been discussing some of the topics and different things that are going to be featured at this conference. I would encourage everybody to take a day to just dedicate yourselves and immersing yourselves in learning about life. This covers a whole lot of stuff. If you don't have a lot of background, understanding where things have come from, where they're going, or just how to have conversations with people when it comes to the sanctity of life, bioethics, fetal development, abortion procedures, theologically where that whole conversation should be. This event here will equip you and prepare you to do that. With question 6 being on the ballot again next year, people have got to take the time to build their confidence if they're not comfortable going out and taking on this issue. Lives depend on you, and the Lord commands us to be a voice for those being led to the slaughter. And so Christians need to take that more seriously and get involved. I understand people being apprehensive of jumping into issues that they're not familiar with. This equips you and prepares you so you have no excuse. So check that out. It's the imagodayconference.org.
January 17th.
January 17th from 8 to 5 at Calvary Chapel Red Rock over in Summerlin. I think it's going to be a great event.
Oh, it's going to be. It's definitely going to be.
We're looking forward to supporting that. It's actually a mandatory staff Youth Development Training Day for
There
our
you go.
people here.
Sure, of course.
Take a day off of work from First Choice and go over here. We're super excited about Dr. Delgado since we do abortion pill reversals. And it's really awesome that Jessica Williams is going to get to meet somebody in the medical field like herself that is responsible for that protocol that saved Kaylee's life.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. It's like a
so
two-way
cool.
blessing because now Jessica's now going before Congress and testifying on, the efficacy and the value of the abortion pill reversal process. And and all of this is due to this doctor. So, it's just great. It's going to be awesome. By the way, at the Imago Dei conference, this is a good time to get information about any pro-life ministry that you're interested in, because they're all going to be there. First Choice is going to be there. 40 Days for Life is going to be there. Nevada Right to Life is going to be there. Living Grace is going to be there. There's just going to be a plethora of different ministries. Listen, if you want to be able to assist in the pro-life movement in this community, question 6, folks, Choose Life 2026 is going to be there, then this is where you want to be. The Imago Dei Conference. Again, it's coming up January 17th. And if you want more information, imagodeiconference.org. Now, this is tough to spell. Now, for those of you who are watching over YouTube or Rumble, you can see it, or Facebook. But for those of you who are listening, it's going to be tough to write this because it's Latin. It's Latin. Imago Dei.
We've had discussions on this.
We have. imagodeiconference.org. It's IMAGODEI. imagodeiconference.org. And you log in there, get yourself registered. There's a slight registration fee.
Yeah,
And,
there's also a group rate if you have a group of people. We have a group rate for all of us at First Choice that are going, so you can check that out as well.
Yeah, so listen, January is going to be a big day. Not only is it, January 21st is National Hugging Day, which is very important, which I found out from one of our sponsors.
January 21st
It's the National
That's
Hug.
awesome. Look out, Deb better stay home on the 21st.
We tend to thank RTS Postal Express for informing us, which they have a special all the way to National Hugging Day. So we're going to talk about that a little later. But
we probably shouldn't tell people that, because then they're going to think we can't hug them the rest of the year.
Well,
every day is National Hugging Day. You might get extra hugs on January 21st.
Yeah, you should get extra hugs, so there you go. And so, but
if you're not a hugger, you should be a hugger on that day.
That's right. If you can't find a huggable person, then be one. I think
that's right.
That's right. So, so free up your January, because January, listen, it's going to be very, very important. You got 2 great conferences. You got the Battleborn Freedom Conference on January 10th. The very following Saturday, you've got the Imago Dei Conference. So, listen, free up your January for 2026 and see how the Lord is going to use you in this battle for life. That is like one of the most rewarding things that you will ever do.
And then January the 24th is our annual baby memorial.
Oh, you have a baby memorial. That's right.
Yeah, honoring our forgotten babies. That's the 24th here at noon. So Saturdays in January, just to devote it to...
There you go.
To educating yourself, empowering yourself.
Yeah.
And being battle ready.
That's right. And find out how to spell Imago Dei.
Yeah.
I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors that make this portion of the broadcast possible, and that's Dr. Ray Kelly of Kelly Chiropractic. Treats injuries from falls, accidents, motor vehicle crashes, work-related incidents. For those of you who are suffering from allergies, he also has a procedure called acutherapy, going to treat your allergies and ease some of that discomfort. Accepts most forms of insurance. Been in the business over 33 years here in Las Vegas. Give him a call. Set up your appointment. The number is 702-870-9200.
I'm getting ready to post this on my Facebook page. I just recently, for anybody who actually is interested in following me on Facebook, I created a public page for everybody who wants to follow me, because I was told people would like to follow me.
Who would want to follow Deborah Costello?
I have no idea. But you can find Deborah Costello on Facebook, and this is something I'm going to post, but I'm going to share it on here for anybody who's not on Facebook. It's just a little devotional post that I'm going to share, but it was really interesting. I was reading Luke 1 recently, and I just thought, why did God put this in here with Elizabeth being so old and beyond childbearing, and Mary's so young and a virgin? Like, what more? And so I really dug into it, and I shared that post on the page. It was really It was really insightful, some of the stuff that I learned about it. But this is a different one that I'm getting ready to post for Christmas. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil. 1 John 3:8. 2,000 years ago, God defeated darkness in the most unexpected way. Not through a warrior, not through a king, not through a spectacle of earthly power, but through a baby. Heaven's answer to Satan's rebellion was the cry of an infant in Bethlehem. From the beginning, Satan has feared the life of a child. Pharaoh tried to destroy the Hebrew babies. Herod tried to kill the newborn Messiah. The enemy knows that within every child is the image of God, the reflection of his creativity, his purpose, and his plan. And he knows that it was a baby who came to crush his works forever. This is why the battle over life is so fierce. Abortion is not merely a social issue. It is a spiritual war over destiny, identity, and the image of God. But every time a mother chooses life, every time a baby is protected, every time a heart is turned towards hope, the victory of Christ echoes again. Jesus arrived in weakness to reveal God's strength. He arrived in humility to display God's glory. He arrived as a child to remind us that life itself is sacred, powerful, and chosen by God for his purposes. Today, reflect on this truth. The enemy fears the life God protects. The enemy fears the child God sends. And the enemy is defeated every time life is chosen.
Amen.
And so I was like, wow, just when you think about Jesus coming to earth as a baby, it was just something deeper that I had got into, and it was really a whole different thought process and reading these couple different things that I thought was really good. So if you want to see that post that I just read, go follow my page.
Yeah. And you know, I just realized I had forgotten about the fact that Elizabeth was up there in years when she had her child. And it's interesting because the entire Christ birth story has almost every kind of crisis pregnancy situation that you can imagine in there. You've got a young teenager girl born or is having a child, and you know the dad, they're wondering questions about the dad. There's not a whole lot of money. You have an elderly mom who's now pregnant, right? And she has those issues to deal with. And, you know, just all the dynamic that's there in the birth of our Savior. Plus, you add to that the personalities of the children in the womb coming to life. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have everything in the story right there. I mean, just all kinds of aspects.
I actually, when I was reading it, and I don't know how many times I've read Luke 1, but it just stood out in a different way to me that I'm like, there's something a whole lot more to this, that there's such contrast between two ladies' lives. Two impossible pregnancies, one unshakable God. When Luke opens his gospel, he does something remarkable. He introduces us not to one miraculous pregnancy, but two, side by side, as if God wants us to slow down and see something. Elizabeth, far too old. Mary, far too young. One had waited her whole life. The other hadn't even begun her life as a wife. Yet into both wombs God placed life. Why? Because the God who authors salvation begins his story by showing us that he alone is the giver of life. Sovereign over biology, timing, circumstances, expectations, and human limitations. Elizabeth represents those who feel forgotten. Mary represents those who feel unprepared. Very drastic differences. But God chose both. He brings hope to the overlooked and overwhelmed. He uses the seasoned believer and the brand new disciple. He displays his strength in what the world calls too late and too early. Their stories converge, and in that sacred meeting, John leaps and Jesus is exalted. This is more than history. It is God's pattern. Life is God's work. Hope is God's signature, and impossible situations are God's specialty. When we at First Choice stand with women facing fear, shame, pressure, and impossibility, we stand in the same story. The God who opened the barren womb and the virgin womb is the same God who is opening hearts today and rescuing children who were deemed impossible and unwanted. Your support makes room for miracles. Every heartbeat heard, every mother encouraged, every life saved. Echoes Luke 1. You are joining God in his holy work, declaring that every life, whatever the circumstance, is precious and intentional. May we continue to be champions for life with the confidence that the God who works through two unlikely mothers is the same God working through us today. But I also was talking about how, and the other part I didn't post, how John the Baptist, or how John was the end of that prophecy fulfillment, and how it transitioned right into the fulfillment of it. It was super fascinating.
That you wrote that and posted that?
Uh-huh.
Well, I had no idea that you were. How interesting.
Yeah, it was just when I was sitting there, I was like, it was some stuff I studied up and I found and put together, but I just was like, why is some of this detail in here? There has got to be more to this. It just took me down some rabbit trails. That it was just very interesting, the contrast of how God put those two ladies. But even in Mary staying with Elizabeth for 3 months, it was an older woman who had life experience to help encourage, equip, and prepare her for what she was getting ready to walk through. And so you think of her staying there with Elizabeth through the birth of Jesus. There was just a lot in that. That was part of it. It was super fascinating, especially in this time of year as our world celebrates Christmas. What's the real story behind the mothers during that time that went through 2 very different pregnancy situations? And I was saying, for Elizabeth's husband to sit there deaf or blind, or not blind, mute, and to hear these 2 women who had very different stories they were going through and not be able to speak and just be able to listen, that would be a whole nother fascinating part of that story.
How humbling it is to have to sit mute through the entire pregnancy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to share with you guys very little bit because here in a minute, we're going to take a break for our sponsors. And Ken has a lot of stuff here that...
Got some stuff.
He's going to share with you lined out, and I'm going to let him take the rest of the show out to the end. But I would ask you all to please be in extra prayer for First Choice right now. We have many pans in the fire, so to speak, or I'm juggling multiple balls at one time, somebody else told me. God has opened some incredible doors for First Choice in the last month and a half, and it has been a wild ride to be a part of. I'm actually leaving here in a few minutes to go look at a property where we're looking at opening our second First Choice right now.
Yes.
We looked at another property recently, which is a great property, great location. Not sure if God's going to open the doors for us to be there or not. But I'm going to look at another property right now that is a great location for impact in our city and for saving life and for reaching a demographic of people that we would love to reach. So just be praying that God would lead us, direct us, and guide us to where He wants us. This location wasn't on my radar. It was picked up by somebody else. And when I saw the location, I was like, wow. We also are looking into expanding into a mobile unit next year. That's exciting. It's something that we've never really explored a lot because we kind of used to be like, we don't need a mobile unit. But with abortion pills and pharmacies in people's neighborhoods now becoming their local abortion clinics, or just being able to order abortion pills online, the landscape of abortion has significantly changed, and we want to be able to adapt and adjust with the times that we're in and be able to reach these women where they are and save the lives of these children that God puts us in contact with. we're getting ready to start a huge increase in our marketing next month. We're turning on marketing dollars here at First Choice on a level that we've never done before. And so we're excited to see how that reaches more women in our community that we can share Christ with and that we can save more babies. So be praying for our staff here, as no doubt that's going to increase their daily intake when we're already sometimes very busy. And then I had one other meeting with somebody here in the community last week that wants to open a First Choice on their property. I'm going to leave it at that because it'll blow your mind if I tell you. And we're in conversation right now, and it is only a door that God could even possibly open. I was floored to go have the conversation with this person last week. There's no other explanation for it than God. So we don't know where that's going to lead yet. We might know here in the next couple of months as we proceed forward with pursuing the possibility and reality of this happening. But there is a lot of very exciting opportunities on the horizon for us to maximize our impact here in Las Vegas. We have about 47,000 babies that have been saved in 21 years. Yes. And it is super exciting to imagine how that number could significantly increase with us expanding throughout Las Vegas here. So we also have a nurse chat that is getting ready to go live on our website here this month. We'll have a nurse that will be able to communicate with any girls that come to our website seeking any type of help, abortions, whatever. So we're excited to be in a city that never sleeps, yet have some nurses that can be awake throughout the night.
24-hour hotline. That's going to be awesome.
That will be able to talk to these girls in the darkest moments of their life at night when everybody else is closed. So we have a lot of very exciting new things coming up. But with all of this, we also realize that there is a spiritual battle we're in, and we realize that we're walking into another level that we have never been involved in. So we covet your prayers. We covet your support. If you've ever had a thought, or maybe you've never had a thought of joining First Choice and being a part of what we're doing here, I would invite you to come down here and take a tour. Come talk to us. Come be a part of something that will change your life. And it will impact eternity. You know, my dad went to heaven 2 years ago, and I often think, I wonder how many of these people that he met standing outside of an abortion clinic, or these babies, how many of these people has he met in heaven? How many will he meet? What is your legacy when you go to see Jesus? Are you filling heaven? Are you making it crowded like Charlie Kirk and his wife tried to do? Life is so temporary here, and so eternity is should be our focus, and impact in life here should be top priority of what we're doing.
Amen. And it is. So if you are thinking about volunteering, maybe you're a medical professional, maybe you have some expertise that you could lend to First Choice. Listen, we're going to have another clinic, a second clinic. We're going to need a whole new set of staff. Maybe you have some expertise in construction or IT. Look, we could use you. Give First Choice a call. Be a champion for life. Here's the number, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. Come and visit our property. We're at 860 East Sahara. And call ahead and take a tour of our facility and then see how we're going to expand, because our new location could very well be twice the size of this one. And this is a pretty good location size right here in our clinic here. So, but we need you at this point. So see if the Lord is leading you to become a champion for life.
I'm a huge proponent of elevating from within. So as we look to expand, we would love to have people that have come and joined and have started equipping themselves through volunteering
Yep.
to be able to bring on staff for the replication that is on the horizon. We're going to be hiring quite a few people and replicating what we're trying to do. And we're trying to do some new stuff as well, educating the youth. The youth is the future. And it would be awesome to be able to educate them before they wind up in the situation that many of the youth find themselves in, by empowering them to know the basics of fetal development. Let them see what an ultrasound looks like, what a baby looks like in the womb, so that they don't go blindly into an abortion clinic when they're pregnant at some point and they tell them, oh, it's nothing, we'll just do an abortion for you. They should know what that baby looks like in the womb. They should know when that baby's heart starts to beat. Education is empowering, and we want to empower the youth and the women and the families in our community. Also working on some more extensive collaboration with different nonprofits here in our city. I love collaborating with people. Anybody who thinks they can just do it all on their own must not be reaching many people. It definitely takes a community of people to be the hands and feet of Jesus, to reach these women with the needs that they have. The more resources that we have that we can share with these women, the easier it makes it for them to choose life. So we want to strengthen those bonds with those here in this community, and just really rock 2026 with Jesus just leading the way.
Yeah, amen.
It's exciting.
Come and be a champion for life with us as we, work to save the lives of these children and their bolster families and their moms in our communities. I mean, First Choice stands to be a lighthouse for life in our state, and you can be a part of it. And again, so if you'd like more information, give us a call. If you're listening on KKVV radio, our number 702-294-CARE. Or if you're listening or viewing this via Rumble or YouTube, you can look right just below us. Here is all of our information for Champions for Life and First Choice Pregnancy Services. And look, God can use you. No matter what you think your experiences can be, or are, whether you think you can contribute or not, God can use you and will bless you as you work to save these precious little ones, definitely.
And as I think about this, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. About 2 weeks ago, I don't think I shared this story yet on here. I don't often go into the counseling room, but I do occasionally if we're super busy here. Last year, they asked me, hey, would you help us with advocacy? And I said, give me an easy one.
Is there an easy one?
And I looked through the charts and I'm like, oh, you guys are going to put me in the frying pan. And so I jumped in and, I just pull this up in here. This guy. I jumped into the advocacy part of it and had a great conversation with this young gal. Kind of shared some of our life stories and experiences, and she said, she wouldn't have an abortion if the baby had a heartbeat. And I told her, well, your baby, if you're as far along as you are, it does have a heartbeat. When people have abortions, the baby's heart is beating.
The baby's already beating.
So I had reached out to her recently to just check on her and see how she was doing. And she ended up sending me back. Oh, here it is. She didn't respond to me for a month. And then she responded to me with,
oh boy,
this image.
Oh, that's right. All right. Our producer is going to help you see this. But for those who are listening on KKVV, this is a picture of a beautiful baby girl in a Minnie Mouse outfit. That's adorable.
And so I was like, then the other day she was at a doctor's appointment and just randomly out of the blue sent me another picture of her little girl. And she showed up at the Christmas event at my church last Sunday night
Oh, yeah?
to stop by so I could meet her baby.
Nice. Oh, how cool is that?
So you might not be interested necessarily in advocacy, but maybe you are, or maybe you don't think you are, and you just don't know that that's what God has for you. It is so awesome when you see some of these ladies come back and to see the impact that you've had on lives. We had another gal the other day. I shared the story last year. She'd come in, she had been raped, and she ended up having the baby. And I went to meet the baby with Eve back in May. And we just told her we were going to help her with all these different things. Her story was just so heartbreaking. She had been commuting on a bus back and forth from work 4 hours every day, one way. And one night on her way home, she got off the bus 10 o'clock at night and somebody raped her. And she has no idea who did it. She only remembers the smell of this person. But she has this beautiful little girl now that's 7 months. And she came in here the other day for everybody to see the baby and to pick up some baby stuff. And she just said, I want to thank everybody. Like, you guys changed my life. She said, I'm doing things now that I never thought I could do. And it's just incredible to know that people that find themselves in situations that the world would deem that is the perfect pregnancy for abortion, are able to come to a place that encourage them in another direction, that empower them, that she can be proud of a decision that she made. Her daughter is just loves this little baby and helps her out with this baby. And her outcome is completely different than if she would have gone into somewhere else that didn't have resources to help, that didn't have Christ to just love on her, to share with her. And so when you see these different women coming back and their babies, and you see the value and worth of these individuals that God created in his image, it keeps you moving.
Yeah.
So those were pretty awesome things in the last week that we've had.
Yeah, that's just an amazing story. I mean, the difference can be so great, but the children, the children of the mothers who've gone through tragedy almost in order to have their child, those children, I think there's a special blessing of promise for those children and families and for their mom. And that mom's going to live a lifetime of rejoicing over that child. I just know it. And my goodness, it's just one of the testimonies. And there's 77,000 other stories just like that one. Because
well,
of what
the
First
other
Choice
thing
is
that I thought was super interesting with this mom, she's not told any of her family members what happened to her.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, you really take some heat from everybody not knowing any details. And she doesn't share with anybody because she doesn't want her little girl to be ostracized by how she was brought into this world. And so I was like, wow, I'm hoping at some point that God will heal her from what happened to her, and that maybe at some point she'll be able to share that story. Because, when you see this beautiful little girl that she has, it gives you people who advocate for abortion being for the 1%, it gives you a different perspective when you meet that baby and you think, oh, should this baby be killed because of its father? Once you see it, it's like, I can't really say that.
Right.
But it's also a cross that she's willing to carry in protecting that child that our humanity would say is worthless, or our society. So that was just something else that really struck me differently with this mother being all in to protect her baby. She's willing to not tell her children, not tell her relatives that are helping take care of her.
But one day she will.
So how far are we willing to go for different things when you have people that are willing to go to extremes for things like that? It's very humbling, challenging, encouraging, awesome.
Yeah, what a great story. Holy smokes, especially during Christmas time. What a great gift. What a great gift. And again, I mean, if you'd like to be a part of what's happening here at First Choice, and I urge you to, at the very least, come and take a tour of the property. Or you can become an ambassador for First Choice. Soon we're going to have our own van with our traveling sonogram machine. We can take that to your youth group at your church and show them and give them a tour of a mini clinic right there at your church, right to your youth. What a great program that's going to be. So you can get involved, get more information, find out how we can be a blessing to your church. Become an ambassador. Be a champion for life. Here's the number, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. And say, listen, I'd like more information. I think we need you at our church. Come on over. Talk to your pastor. We'll talk to him for you. Just give us, just introduce us and see what we can do and see how God will move.
Or maybe you're interested in taking First Choice to more levels like our new donors. Consider coming and talking to our board. Consider carrying our mission into higher levels that can replicate. It's incredible to see what people can do when they have a little means and network. And we would love to have more people with means and network advance the cause of life. If you have a life, we'll use you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're breathing, help others breathe, especially these young children.
That's right. And with that, Ken's going to give a shout out to our sponsors, and I will see you all after Christmas. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas. God bless you.
All right. And welcome back, folks. I want to mention the RTS Holiday Special. It's obviously going to go through Christmas. It's going to go through January. It's going to go all the way to National Hugging Day. Now, you probably know all about National Hugging Day. But Max, our producer, did not. And neither did I, frankly. National Hugging Day is January 21st. And so the RTS Express discount is going to go all the way through till then. And listen, for all your copy needs, folks, seriously, in order for us to be on the air, it blesses us by you folks visiting our sponsors, and everybody does copies, and RTS does so much. They do, not only do they do banners, but they do floor signs, stand-up floor signs. They do door hangers and brochures, trifold folders. They do car decals, car magnets. I mean, they do everything. If you want your company logo on your shirt or your cap or your coffee cups, how wonderful a Christmas gift would that be with your company logo and your employee name right on the cup? What a great gift that would be for your employees. Listen, RTS Postal Express can do all of that. And you can get a discount by just mentioning Champions for Life. And it blesses us as you bless them. That lets RTS know that, hey, you know what? Folks are listening to not only this broadcast, but they're honoring it and blessing our sponsors. And in turn, you're a blessing to us as well by visiting businesses that stands for life and love you and love the Lord as well, especially during this Christmas season. So give RTS Postal Express a call. Claim your discount by mentioning the Champions for Life radio broadcast. And again, their number, 702-489-4859. That's 489-4859, RTS Postal Express, one of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast and podcast. A lot of good stuff has been happening, by the way. Before we get to the story, I want to mention that since 1991, Operation Rescue, who has a media presentation, they wrote an article, said 70% abortion businesses since 1991 have closed. That's over 1,500 clinics or referral servicing businesses like Planned Parenthood have shut down. 1,500 since 1991. And it's just amazing. Just this past year, 54 closures. 36 of them were Planned Parenthood abortion facilities. 28 of them were referral locations. And I mean, it's just amazing what God is doing. So that's something to be praising God about this holiday season. Plus, here in Nevada, the parental notification law is finally in place so that if you're, God forbid that your 12, 13, 14-year-old little girl gets pregnant, guess what? she can't run off, or some man can't run her over to an abortion facility unless you, the parent, are notified. So this law is in place. We passed this back in 1985. Planned Parenthood challenged it in court, got an injunction since 1985, a 40-year injunction. And it got overturned thanks to Nevada Right to Life. And the 9th District Court of Appeals overturned this injunction. Now, finally, in 2025, you're able to get to be notified if, little Susie, God forbid, gets pregnant and some guy tries to run her over to an abortion facility. You, the parent, will be notified, which is good. Plus, it helps in human trafficking. We have a serious human trafficking problem here in Las Vegas, one of the worst in the country. And consequently, some of these young girls that are trafficked, they get pregnant. These horrible people are taking them over to get an abortion to, try to deal with their so-called problem, and no one knows. Well, now these minor children, their parents are going to have to be notified. This is good for Nevada. It's good for these young ladies, and we praise God for the 9th Circuit Court of Appeal rendering in our favor on that. And finally, the Trump administration is ending the $22 million a year that the federal government was giving for fetal research, talking about aborted baby parts that were being used through the National Institute of Health for research. And in the decades that they've been using fetal tissue to try and, procure a cure for diseases, that they've always said, well, we need this, these embryonic stem cells, we need this fetal tissue for this research. And in all the years that they've been doing, the decades that they've been working on this with your taxpayer dollars, there have been zero cures that have come from this research. So what are we doing? What are we doing? And so the Trump administration says, forget that. And there's a better way to do it anyway. Stem cells from placenta and umbilical cords are far more promising, especially when you're dealing with adult stem cells as well. But stem cells from embryonic stem cells are promising. And that's the research that we want to encourage, because people have been cured. I even read a story years ago of a guy that was blind and because of stem cell research regained his sight. And there have been other miraculous cures that have come from stem cell research. So thankfully, the Trump administration ending $22 million that they were given of your taxpayer dollars that were going for fetal research, that's going to be gone. So we're thanking God for that. So now we get to our Christmas story. Now I do this every time that I'm on the air during the course of the year. I love this story because it deals with St. Nick. Everybody loves, even Max, our producer, loves Santa Claus. I mean, who doesn't love Santa Claus, also known as St. Nicholas, right? And so, but a lot of people don't know how great a guy he really, really was. Some know a little bit. We're going to give you the whole story today, and including his crime of assault. We're going to see if we can get this in today. Like I said, a lot of stories about St. Nick of Smyrna, Turkey. He was born in Lycia on the southwest coast of modern Turkey, had wealthy parents, Theophanes and Nana, and they read to him the Holy Scriptures faithfully, taught him his prayers, was a great kid. His uncle, Bishop Nicholas of Patara, ordained young Nicholas, and he just blossomed. Proved himself over and over, showing great kind-heartedness and generosity by distributing his inheritance to the poor. So he really, really had a heart for the poor. Okay, during this time, here comes one of the stories. During this time, which you may know, 3 grown daughters of a formerly rich inhabitant were in danger of being sold into slavery because of their father's pennilessness. In other words, he just flat out broke. Got 3 girls. And hearing of this, young Nicholas secretly visited the man's house at night and threw gold in the window to provide a dowry for one of the girls. And in those days, you had to provide a dowry in order for the young lady to be married. And it worked. I mean, the girl was married off happily ever after, right? Then Nicholas again made, these, secret donations for the other 2 daughters. So not only did they not get sold into slavery, they ended up being married and lived happily ever after. And so it was great things. And so modern children who awake to an orange or to gold foiled chocolates in their stockings reenact this story because, by all accounts, one of Nicholas's gifts landed in a sock that was hanging over the fireplace to dry. So now you threw it in the window, tradition says, threw it in the window and it went into the sock. So there you go. All right, so the young Nicholas, blessed with a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, during the voyage, a storm came up that terribly frightened the crew, but through prayers, the waves of the sea were calmed and the passengers saved. According to Palestinian Christians, did you know that there were Christians in Palestine today? I bet you didn't know that. I knew that. The Mar Nicula, that's the name they give for Saint Nick, lived in a cave as a hermit for 3 years after visiting the Holy Land. So in Palestine today, there is a cave called that is venerated by Palestinian Christians because Saint Nick is claimed to have lived there for 3 years. And eventually, an Orthodox church was built over the hermit's abandoned cave at Beit Jala in Palestine. And Palestine still commemorate the saint by giving gifts to children on December 19th. So December 19th is that. Not long after that, of his return from Asia Minor, Nicholas was made Archbishop of Smyrna. And difficult years followed the archbishop and his flock, who were forced underground by the Roman Emperor Diocletian, who was very brutal and persecuted and killed a lot of Christians. During this time, the good archbishop, who had this is hard to believe, but we're going to go with it, had the charism of bilocation. I'm going to explain what that means in a minute. Appeared to imprisoned members of his flock as a model of gentleness, kindness, and love until the day that he too was discovered in hiding. In jail, Nicholas continued to sustain and exhort his fellow believers to endure torture and death for the love of Christ. And after Diocletian's death, Nicholas was released and returned to his duties as bishop, confessor of the faith, a title given to Christians who were imprisoned and tortured for their faith during this period in our history, but not executed. And they were extremely revered and respected by their contemporaries. Okay, Archbishop Nicholas, here we go, attended the First Ecumenical Council at Nicaea in the year 325. Pay close attention. This is where it gets interesting. Where you have this guy who is attending. Now, here we go. The meeting is about the Trinity and the divinity of Jesus Christ. Well, here comes a heretic to the meeting by the name of Arius. Couple of different stories, comes a couple of different ways. One story had him whistling a popular tune, but the words of the tune were transcribed into the heresy itself. The heresy that Arius was either singing or proclaiming at this meeting was that it denied that Jesus Christ was both God and man. This form of blasphemy, this heretical teaching that Arius ascribed to, and that he was promoting at this meeting, this very important meeting at Nicaea. And Saint Nick couldn't take it anymore. Saint Nicholas couldn't take it. He couldn't, because Arius wouldn't shut up. He kept going on and on and on about how, Jesus is not God, just a man, good guy, but not really God. And Saint Nick had enough. He couldn't take it. Look, I got a meeting. We're trying to agree. We can't even get anywhere because you're prodding this hammer. So what did he do? Strode right over to Mr. Arius, grabbed him by his beard, and punched him right in the kisser. Some stories say that he slapped him. Other stories, most of them say that he, boom, right there on your dollar sign. And that was it. And St. Nick got in a lot of trouble. The scandalized council fathers sprang upon Nicholas, stripped him of his archbishopry, threw him in prison, and you figure that would be the end of St. Nick, right? I mean, the guy guilty of assault. But guess what? That night, so the story goes, Nicholas was visited by the Lord, who loosed him of his bonds and gave him the vestiges of his archbishopry back. And the next day when they opened the jail, boom, there he was. Chains were gone. And now he appears completely vested as an archbishop. They figured, oh my goodness, this was righteous indignation. We were wrong. God has blessed this man, obviously has blessed St. Nick, and they gave him his job back as archbishop. And to which he kept that seat until December 6th, the year 343, when Archbishop Nicholas of Myra passed away. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you? Now, I'm not saying, now listen, don't, look, if you hear a heretic coming to your Christmas party, do not think that you're as worthy or as honorable as our Saint Nick. But, you know, correct them in love, showing God's grace. You know, if there's some kind of heresy being spoken at your Christmas party or on Christmas morning. But I love that because, you know, sometimes we just, you know, sometimes we lose our temper. But we don't do that here at First Choice. Here we maintain peace and love and harmony throughout the Christmas season. So, folks, listen, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Remember this, if you don't remember anything else, the Lord loves you. He's got a great plan for your life and will make you a champion for life. Merry Christmas.